You are tuned to Kenneth Zenith Cablevision. Thank you for watching. It's time for talk. Each evening at this time, Monday through Friday, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community. Time for Talk is a community betterment service. Tonight, Rosemary takes us by means of portable camera out of our studios and maybe into your neighborhood. And now, it's time for Talk.
See what the attraction is here. It's these little green sunflowers, and you know, he can reach in and pull it up. It looks like that, and that must be delicious to go with. I bet you've never seen one of these close up. At least I never had. And we were greatly puzzled. Let me tell you that this has been another one of those summers that's been for the birds. Now, you remember bird watching is one of our long suits, it seems. We enjoy doing that. What we really wanted in this backyard were wood ducks. Wood ducks are beautiful, and it's so incredible to look out the window and see a duck sitting in the tree just perched on a limb. And we really wanted wood ducks, so we had 4 boxes made for wood ducks. Now, they were supposed to all be the same size, but somehow we got one much shorter than the other one. But we have 4 in the backyard, but we got no wood ducks. Now, we've almost had a silent spring in our backyard. We haven't had wood ducks, and we haven't had barn swallows, and we haven't had kildees. We haven't really had much of anything except this bird. We knew we had a hawk of some sort, but the library told us what kind. Actually, we have an American kestrel. It's the smallest of the falcons, and was quite interesting to read about. And these are the birds, well, we know them as sparrowhawks. They're the smallest of the falcons. And you see them as you drive along the highway. They're usually perched on the wires, and they're turning their head from side to side, looking into the ditch for any sort of mouse or rodent or anything. Now, they're not the great big ones that are sitting in the trees, but they're the ones perched on wires. And this has been such an interesting subject to research and to read about and to watch. And we're going to show you some of the things we did here in the backyard to get them. Of course, Russ was out with the camera, and he was out with microphone, and we did lots of things on different days. We would set the camera up and let it run for 2 hours at a time. Then we'd take it in. And did you know it takes 27 minutes to look through a 2-hour tape at fast-forward speed and try to find this bird flying in? Interesting thing about this bird, she flies in. She doesn't light on a limb or a branch and sit there for a few minutes at all. She comes in, she hits the nest, and she's gone. And if you've blinked twice, you've missed her. Let's show you some of the footage we have. Now, oftentimes, the parent circles and yells, and the youngsters in the box can hear, and one will look out, and you will see that often. One looks out. The parent has come in. She evidently has a mouse in her claw. This is done so quickly, without slow motion, we could not even tell what was going on. She flies in. She has a mouse. She hangs on with one foot. She cannot lift the weight of the mouse into the box with the other foot. She reaches down with her beak, and with the beak and the foot, she pushes the mouse inside the box. And there's much shouting going on in the box, as you can imagine. Now, to get the mouse down in there as she wants it, she goes on in the box this time. As the birds get a little older, she will just come up, hit that hole with the mouse, and then she's gone. Now, this is a particularly good angle to get this. She turns this time to the camera and doesn't obscure what she's doing with her body. Watch her take that mouse, or him, and throw it in the box. It weighs perhaps as much as she does, and sometimes she has to go in with it, push it in with her body.
Now, theoretically, falcons, some birds of prey, regurgitate unedible portions of their prey. And if there's not a snake in here, well, looking down in here, it's not like a robin's nest, it's pretty packed down. I see lots of little feathers. I see the underside of a mouse skull, even right now. Right in the center of the picture is a mouse skull, upside down. You can see the rows of teeth in there. And then, coming down this way, you can see a mouse. Looks like a femur. There is moth in here. There's an unhatched egg in there, it appears to be. I don't know if this is necessary. I wear a mask all the time anyway, but there's a lot of dust and stuff coming up out of these dry droppings here, and I don't want any organisms to grow in my lungs after breathing this.
And in every Western bar, they have 15 so they all were drinking.
Now, this moth is incidental, I believe. Probably gotten in there since. But kestrels are known to eat large insects, and here's a big old grasshopper leg. And if we come up here, you can see the underside of a mouse skull. There's the rows of teeth right there. That's what I was looking at up on the ladder. And this, to me, appears to be a pellet. Whoops. Fell down. Are you there? What I've read about as being pellets, that's a big concoction of hair and or bone and some other inedible portions of insects or animals that the young eat, and they're not digestible portions, and so they'll hack that back up, for lack of a better term. They'll regurgitate that in the form of a pellet. Now these remains here are full of, I can see tiny little mites running around all through those if I disturb them. And if I take that apart, you can instantly see little shiny pieces of carapace, of the covering of some of these large grasshopper that they've been eating, and beetles, I guess. Who can identify what animal would this have come from? You see right away these kestrels have a varied diet. They eat small birds, and were I an ornithologist, I can tell you what brand of bird this came from. Looks like a mouse femur, a thigh bone. Here's Mr. Lincoln on a United States penny. This gives you the size comparison. The mouse skull. Here's 90% of what was in the bottom of the nest.
I really won't. I can get that off there.
Mostly sticks, etc. But buried up in the midst of all this, there's lots of...
So their nests are not sophisticated.
They're not neat. Well, at least not in this, not in a square box. What they did was basically pack the bottom full of twigs. And I suspect that the last words of this rodent might have been, "Oh no, Ralph, there'd be no falcons out here. No falcons out here." As we look through here, we find all kinds of bones of upper arms and hips and legs. And look here. Here's an unhatched egg of a kestrel.
And there you have it. That's the story of the American kestrel in our backyard in the summer of '96.
You have been watching Time for Talk. Time for Talk is a community betterment service designed to cooperate with our local community betterment program. Each evening, Monday through Friday at this time, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community. If you are aware of items of interest, please let us know for possible airing on this program. Time for Talk is brought to you through the cooperation of Kennett Cablevision Incorporated and is produced through the facilities of the Slicer Street Church. The Holy Scriptures come alive. Coming up next. Stay tuned.